Welcome to the Holistic Kids Show. My name is Zain.
My name is Dula.
And my name is Imad.
We're the Holistic Kids here to educate us kids from the inside out. Our eyes are the window to a new world. Our eye health matters, but like kids' chronic health conditions, the number of kids with nearsightedness or myopia has been also growing rapidly in the U.S. and in many other parts of the world. In the U.S., 42% of people are now myopic, up from 25% in the 1970s. In some East Asian countries, as many as 90% of people are myopic by the time they're young adults.
That is crazy. I wonder why that is. Are there things we can do to help our eyes?
Those are great questions for our guest, and she is our first eye doctor on our show. We can't wait to talk to Dr. Rani Banik. Is that how you say your name?
Banik. Yep.
Banik. Okay.
Dr. Rani Banik is America's integrative eye doctor. She's a board-certified ophthalmologist and fellowship-trained neuro-ophthalmologist with additional certification in functional and integrative medicine. Dr. Rani is also frequently featured as a guest in the media and has been interviewed on Good Morning America, CBS, NBC, ABC, the New York Times, the Washington Post, and Fox, among others. Well, that's a lot.
That is a lot.
Dr. Rani is the best-selling author of Beyond Carrots, Best Foods for Eye Health, A to Z, that focuses on the 30-plus nutrients and 40 foods, nutrients, and 40 foods that best provide complete nutrition for your eyes. So welcome to our show.
Oh, thank you so much, kids. It's been great to hear you, and I'm so excited to be here.
So tell us your story. How did you get into trying to research the nutrients that help our eyes?
Yeah, so it all started with my own health journey. I have migraine, and I had the worst diet possible. Like, I was living off of junk food, like pizza and ice cream and soda, and I didn't know why my migraines just weren't getting better. So it wasn't until I discovered functional medicine that I realized the benefits of nutrition. And I started to change my diet around, eat more healthier foods, get rid of the bad foods, the unhealthy foods. And then I finally started to get better without having to take medication. So I took that and then I expanded it into eye health. So I know that, obviously certain nutrients are important for brain health, but what's important for eye health? So I started to do research about it. There really wasn't that much out there. We were never taught, like I was never taught in my training in medical school or afterwards, like what's important for people to eat, except for everybody hears about carrots, but other than carrots, nobody really knew. So I was really like delving deep into the research, and that's why I decided to put this all together in the book. And yeah, that's where the idea all came from, to help people with their vision using the power of nutrition.
Well, that's amazing.
That is amazing. In my introduction, I mentioned myopia. What is that, and
why is that affecting so many kids?
Yeah, so those are great questions, Zain and Dula. So basically, myopia is nearsightedness. So it's a change in the power of the eye where you can see up close, you can see clearly, it's sharp, but then when you try to look in the distance, it's really blurry. So myopia is basically nearsightedness. And so it has to do with, again, the shape of the cornea, the shape of the lens. And as you mentioned in your intro, myopia is on the rise. So before, it wasn't so common. Right now, worldwide, it's at about 30%. So 30% of people around the world are myopic, which is kind of crazy to think. And what's even more crazy is that by the year 2050, 50% of the world's population is going to be myopic and need glasses or contacts for distance, which is mind-boggling. And like you said, like there are certain countries in the world where, especially in East Asian countries like Taiwan, China, Singapore, those numbers are really, really high. Like 80 to 90% of people are already myopic in some of those countries. So it's a big health issue, eye health issue, but also like a general health issue as well.
Why does that occur? And why is it so common?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, we don't really understand why it's on the rise. We hypothesize that it's because most of our world is like up close now. Like most of us are on screens, we're on our computers, our phones, our tablets, or we're reading. So we're constantly focusing up close. And when young people like you are focusing up close, what happens is their eye changes shape and it starts to get longer. So when the eye gets longer, that causes myopia. And so the more time you spend like up close doing things at close rather than looking in the distance, the more the stimulus is for your eye to grow longer. And that's what we think is like the biggest driver of myopia is doing stuff up close, particularly on screens.
So, why do you think myopia is rising in kids specifically? Because I'm pretty sure 20 years ago there wasn't as much in kids, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. It wasn't much in kids and also not so common in adults. But I think for kids, they're particularly vulnerable because their eyes can change shape easily. So adult eyes are pretty much fully grown. They don't really change shape that much. But up until the age of, let's say, your early 20s, the eye is very flexible and it can get longer and longer and longer. So there's kind of like a period, like an important time frame during which the eye can elongate. And that's especially like why kids are so susceptible to myopia. Great question. That's an amazing question.
Because I'm odd, right? A lot of the kids nowadays they have a lot of kids have glasses in school, right?
Yeah, a ton.
Like now it's the new normal, which is so sad.
It is, yeah. Like kids get glasses at such a young age too. Like even some 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds start to wear glasses because just their eye is changing shape and it's getting longer. And okay, so I'm going to share something with you all. I know we've been talking like, oh God, it's such a bad thing, and it's a big problem in the world, but there are some solutions that we all should keep in mind. So there's some studies done out of Asia which show that when kids spend at least 2 hours a day outdoors, particularly out in sunshine, that they can decrease their rate of myopia progression. So 2 hours a day, just 2 hours a day.
Only 2 hours? Wow.
That's
Okay.
it.
Wow.
Yeah, only 2 hours. So, now there are some schools in certain countries, like for example, in Denmark, where they make it's mandated that kids spend 2 hours a day in recess outdoors during the school day. So, whenever you can, try to get outside, try to get your eyes exposed to natural light. Look in the distance. Don't just be on your screens or playing video games or doing your homework all the time. You need to take breaks and try it's really, really so important. Try to spend at least 2 hours a day outside.
And so, do you think it's only technology that is affecting our eyes, especially in kids?
It's not just technology, because even when people like if you have young people who love to read, let's say they're just reading like a regular book, not necessarily on a device, that can also be the stimulus for myopia to develop and the eye to get longer. So it's not just being on a screen, but yes, a lot of us are on screens. Like, I'm going to ask you all a question. How many hours do you think the average teenager spends on screens a day, or average child in the US spends on screens a day? Take a guess.
3 or 4? What do you think, Imad?
5. I think they spend
Okay,
at least
3 to 4,
5.
five, and then
I think
take a guess.
5.5.
Okay, you win. You're the closest. So it's actually 6 hours a day, an average of 6 hours a day that most kids spend on screens. That's a lot of time between schoolwork and entertainment, watching Netflix maybe, or playing video games. That's a lot of time for kids to be on screens. For adults, now let's do another quick poll. How many hours do you think the average adult spends on a screen a day?
12.
12.
Okay.
Well, they have one.
You're pretty close. So the last poll was done like I think in 2018, and it was almost 11 hours a day on a screen. So by now probably it's that, because the pandemic happened and more people are like working from home. So probably 11 to 12 hours a day for adults and 6 hours for kids. So that's a lot of time to be spending in front of a screen. So it takes a toll. It really does take a toll on our eyes. It makes us fatigued. It makes us, have you ever felt like fatigue with your eyes when you're looking at screens all the time?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
it's really,
blue light glasses as well. That they help.
they do help somewhat, but the important thing is to take breaks. So yes, you can wear your blue blockers, you can get a blue blocking filter, but remember to take breaks. So I'm going to give you a tip, which is something that a lot of eye doctors tell their patients. When you're on a screen for hours and hours and hours, set a timer, and every 20 minutes you take a 20-second break and look away or just close your eyes for 20 seconds. So it's called the 20-20 rule. Just take a break and set your phone or set your device on a timer, and it'll remind you to do that.
Wow, you are so empowering.
Yeah, that was really funny because I was actually gonna talk about the 2020 rule.
Oh, I'm so
Because
sorry.
they taught, they, no,
I
no, no,
beat you
it's okay.
to it, but that's really so. Remember, just 2020 means like quote unquote perfect vision. So follow the 20-20 rule. Absolutely.
So, how can food affect our eyes?
So food, I would say, is the number one shield that we have for our eyes to keep our eyes healthy. Whether you're young or you're older, it doesn't matter. If you have the right diet, you can try to prevent a lot of eye problems down the road. And so, you mentioned earlier about blue blockers. So, a lot of people wear those blue blocking glasses when to help against blue light and eye strain and all of that. But did you know that your eyes have natural blue blockers and that these blue blockers come from food? Have you ever heard that before?
I've never heard that before. Amal, have you heard that
No.
before?
No.
Yeah, so there are nutrients, and I don't want to bore you with the names, but there are eye nutrients that we can get from foods. And when we eat these foods, these nutrients get deposited into the back of our eyes, and they act as our natural shields. They can protect us against UV light and blue light. So rather than get blue blockers, yes, you can do that if you want, but the better thing to do is to have lots of foods that have these nutrients. And these nutrients, I'll just tell you what the names are. They're long names, but they're called lutein and zeaxanthin. Have you ever heard of those before?
No. Amal, have you heard of them?
I didn't know these exist.
Yeah, they're kind of hard to remember. They're hard to pronounce, but hard to spell. But these are eye nutrients, and we can get them from. Do you know which foods we can get them from? Take a guess.
Orange fruits? Orange
Carrots.
What's that?
fruits? Just like orange fruits? Because
You're
Carrots.
absolutely. You must have read my book, Zane. I think you read my book. Orange foods, yeah. So like foods like when we think about like having bell peppers, most people have like green bell peppers, but think about orange bell peppers, think about yellow bell peppers, think about other orange foods like corn, also fruits like peaches and nectarines and mangoes. These are all foods that are high in the eye nutrients, and also leafy greens. So do you boys like leafy greens?
Yeah.
Yes, we like greens.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. 2 thumbs up. So leafy greens like spinach and kale and Swiss chard and collard greens, these are all great for your eyes. So make sure you're getting like lots of color. So think about orange, think about yellow, think about green, and you'll get these eye nutrients. And maybe then you won't need your blue blockers.
Mm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Amazing.
Another thing is genetics. Most kid at least for us, both of our parents have glasses or use like contacts or glasses. So,
Mhm.
and then that makes it a higher percent chance of us getting glasses. Is there a way that we could prevent it, or is it just,
or at least make it better,
or just make it
and
better?
lower the risk and chance?
Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah, definitely genetics plays a role. Like things like nearsightedness, myopia tend to be hereditary. Also, astigmatism. I don't know if you've ever heard of astigmatism before, but that can also be hereditary. But what can you do? Well, aside from spending a lot of time outdoors, is if you're prescribed glasses, let's say you wear glasses for distance, then only wear them for distance. Don't wear them for reading because your eyes are naturally focused for up close. So take your glasses off to read, and that will help prevent it from getting worse. And then there are some other, we're talking about food. There are some other nutrients that you can eat to help you decrease your risk for myopia and maybe other eye issues as well. And these are berries. So berries, do you like berries?
Oh, we love berries.
love
What's your favorite berry? I'm curious.
Ahmad, what's your favorite berry?
blackberry.
Black,
I mean blackberries too.
I-
Or
Blackberries?
strawberries.
I like raspberries.
Okay, well, they're all good. They're all good for your eyes. But I'll tell you a quick tip. So the darker, the darker the berry, like blackberries or blueberries, the really dark ones, have the most benefit. So if you're going to eat the berries, definitely include some dark ones in there. And then, of course, you can have the red ones too. You can have like raspberries, strawberries, goji berries, but the dark ones are best for your eyes because they can actually help to prevent some of that myopia, we think, and help with our focusing too. So make sure you're getting those berries for their nutrients for your eyes.
That sounds amazing because usually we eat food, but we don't ever think about what the food is doing for us, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
who knows
it's
that blueberries are helping our eyes?
yeah, and not only that, they can help your brains too. Did you know that half a cup of blueberries a day can help prevent dementia?
Really?
Just
Wow.
half a cup. Yeah, so make sure you tell all your family, like have that half a cup of blueberries a day, especially like if you have grandparents who are older, make sure you tell them that half a cup of blueberries a day is clinically shown to help decrease dementia.
I have a question. It's a little off topic, but are grapes considered berries?
I don't think so. That's a good question. I don't think so. They do grow on vines, but I don't think they're actually berries. But grapes are also good for your eyes. And the darker the grape, the better. So if you can find grapes that are like purple grapes or red grapes rather than green grapes, those more colorful grapes, the darker colors, have more nutrients. So choose darker rather than lighter colors.
All right, so the big question: if you already if your vision is already in the negatives, is there hope to make it make it become better?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you already wear glasses, you already wear contacts, now we have, as eye doctors, we have so many things we can do to help people see better. Some ranging from the standard things like glasses, contact lenses, but we even do, sometimes we do surgeries to help correct vision and to get rid of, have people not have to wear glasses or contacts. So there are so many options. The only thing I'll tell you is that if you're interested in something like that, which is like a procedure, you have to be stable and you have to be over 18. So if you're like, 15, 16, you're not going to be a candidate yet. So maybe you have to wait a couple of years till you're a little bit older to consider some of those other things. And then not only that, there are special types of lenses now that can help to reshape the cornea. So like, let's say you're nearsighted, you're myopic, and it's getting worse. There are lenses that you can wear at night, kind of like, I don't know if any of you wear like braces or retainers, kind of like how you would wear a retainer at night to keep your teeth straight. You can wear a special lens at night over your eye, your cornea, to help keep the shape of the eye from getting worse. So there's all kinds of options now, which is amazing.
So our mom, right? She went from I think 4.5 to negative 4.5 to -3, just by changing her diet. How does that work, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, I love that. I love that kind of story. And I did the same thing. I actually had like a higher prescription. I was like -5, -3, and now I'm like -3, -1.5. So I'm better. Diet does help. Also, staying away from, and I know you're probably not going to like this too much as kids, but sugary foods, right? So sugar is, it's not a great thing. It tastes good, but it's not a great thing for your eyes because if you have too much sugar, your blood sugar when your blood sugar goes up, then the lens inside your eye swells up and it causes more nearsightedness. So you want to maintain like an even, sugar level throughout the day. So it's important to like cut back a little bit on those sweet things.
Wow, that's interesting. I didn't know that sugar, because we've talked a lot about sugar on this podcast, and we've never had it. We've never thought that sugar also helped, also damaged your eyes.
Oh, it can do a lot of damage actually. Like people who have diabetes, they can get a lot of eye complications from diabetes, especially when their sugars are high. So diabetes and vision is not a good combination to have. So whenever we have people who are diabetic, we try to get them to keep their blood sugars down, really watch what they're eating, eat more complex carbohydrates rather than simple sugars. It is really important for, diet to play a role, especially if you have diabetes and vision issues.
Wow, you are so empowering.
So empowering.
So
Oh,
empowering.
thank you. So are you all. You are such an inspiration. It's so amazing to see young people like you curious and wanting to learn and asking all these amazing questions.
So, what things that we do in our lifestyles hurt our eyes?
So I would say as kids, number one, manage your screen time, make sure you're getting outside, but also, do you play any sports?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
What sports do you play?
Soccer, basketball. Do you play anymore? I think
I play soccer, basketball, football.
I
Okay.
run.
So you're all very athletic. That's great. So sports, on one hand, the physical activity part of sports can really help with vision as well because it keeps your blood flowing. It's providing nutrients to your eyes, helping to keep away like other health problems like diabetes or high blood pressure. But sports, on the flip side, you have to be careful with certain sports because let's say you're playing soccer and you get hit in the eye with a ball, right? You could have a black eye, you could have more serious damage. So just be careful. Like in certain sports, you really do have to wear like goggles, like sports goggles to protect yourself, especially sports with like small balls. Um, Bigger balls, maybe not so much, but smaller types of balls, you have to be careful. So just, sports safety is important.
How often should kids be getting their eyes checked?
Such a good question. Thank you so much for asking it. So kids, when you go to see your pediatrician for your annual checkup, usually they do an eye test, right? You've all had that, right? Where you go to
Yeah.
your
Mhm.
regular doctor and they're having you like read the chart. So your pediatrician will screen you. They'll check your vision, and if they notice anything, they'll send you to the eye doctor. But most kids should have their first full eye exam before they enter kindergarten. So by 5. And then after that, depending on what the pediatrician finds, if they find anything, then they may have to see an eye doctor or pediatric ophthalmologist like more often. So it just depends on what your pediatrician finds.
So remember to go and check with your local ophthalmologist and see what works best for you, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Now that's the best advice is everyone's different. Some people go when they're 5 and then they never go again until they're 25. Maybe that's not the best thing, but some people need to go more often. They may need to go like every 6 months or every 3 months depending on what's going on.
What are other things that kids can do daily to help our eyes?
Well, nutrition I would say is number 1, 2, and 3. Also, like when you're doing any kind of activity, like for example, if you're swimming, do you swim? Do any of you swim?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
sure,
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So make sure that when you're out and about, that you're protecting your eyes, like swimming, you're wearing like swim goggles because if that chlorine gets in your eyes, it can be really uncomfortable. Like have you had that
Mhm.
happen where you have a lot
Yeah.
of burning?
Yes.
Yeah, so wear swim goggles. And then the other thing that's really important is even for kids, I actually do recommend that kids wear sunglasses to protect their eyes from the really powerful UV rays between the hours of 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So maybe not all the time, but especially during those hours, those sun's rays are really, really powerful. And even in young kids, they can do a lot of damage. So try to wear your sun protection either, or maybe wear like a big hat, like a baseball cap. You can wear a baseball cap to protect your eyes during those hours also.
So we know about some like what about eye exercises? Because our dad's a doctor and he also sometimes recommends eye exercises. So what do you think about exercising your eyes and how can we do that?
So there are lots of benefits of eye exercises. It helps to relieve eye strain, and sometimes some people have eyes that drift. Have you ever seen that where someone's eyes are not straight, where they look like they're kind of like looking in a different direction? So exactly, like their eyes may go out like this, or if they're trying to read, they start to drift. So in that case, you can do exercises. These are called pencil push-ups, where you take, or you can even take your finger and look at the tip of your finger and bring it closer. You can try this all now. Bring your finger closer to your nose, and at some point, you're going to see the tip of your finger go double. It's going to split into two. Do you see that happening?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the goal is to keep your finger single as close to your nose as possible. So if you start to see it go double, try to focus it in until it's single and bring it to see if you can touch your nose and keep your finger single rather than go double. So these are called pencil push-ups. Okay, so they're like push-ups, but you're doing it with a pencil or with your finger. And so you can do this like a few times a day. And also, I love something called eye yoga. Have you ever heard of eye yoga?
There's
No.
eye push-ups and eye yoga. Oh wow.
Exactly. You're getting a workout for your eyes. So, so eye yoga it's really, really simple to do. Okay. So you're going to sit, imagine a clock in front of you, like with the numbers like 1 through 12. And you're going to just sit comfortably, like, especially if you're like having fatigue and you want to get some time away from the screen, look away from the screen and then look at that, imaginary clock face and move your eyes from 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, and go all the way around. You can spend like 3 seconds at each clock hour. And then you can go clockwise and then you can go counterclockwise. And when you do that, you can really like relax your eyes. You can stretch out some of those muscles. You can give yourself a break. So eye yoga is also really, really helpful. And then the third eye exercise I really love is not really an eye exercise. It's more like relaxation. It's called palming. Have you ever heard of palming?
What is palming?
So palming, you take your palms, okay? You rub them together. Okay, you create a little heat and then you cup your eyes with your palms. You don't put pressure on your eyes, but you basically prevent any light from getting inside your eyes. So it's basically like complete pitch black. And you can do this and it'll like reset your eyes. It'll help you be on the screen for longer. If you feel like your eyes are getting strained or if they're getting dry, you can do palming and then you can start again. So if you can combine palming with your 20-20 exercise, then you can, every 20 minutes, you can do like 20 seconds of palming and that will help you with your endurance when you're on a screen.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Where can people learn more about you and your amazing work?
Oh, thank you.
Amazing
Thank you,
work.
Zane. So my website's the best place. My website's www.drranibanik.com. I have my own podcast coming out soon. And I would love to have you three as guests on my podcast. My podcast is called the IQ Podcast. So EYEQ. So that's going to be coming out soon. I'm going to share a lot of tips about vision health and brain health. And then also my book. So if you're interested in learning more, maybe ask your parents if they would be willing to buy Beyond Carrots to learn about what foods to eat for your eye health. So, and then finally, if you're on Instagram, I do a lot on Instagram. So follow me on Instagram.
And thank you so much, Dr. Rani. This is so powerful.
So powerful.
So powerful.
We are
It's
so
my
thankful for
pleasure.
your time and pearls of wisdom today.
We are so thankful.
It's my pleasure. Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Let's recap Dr. Rani Key's point.
Most of our world is up close. We're spending more and more in time on screens. Our eyes can change shape and affect our vision. When kids spend 2 hours outdoors a day, kids can improve their eyesight whenever you can. Get outside and natural light. We are also living in the digital world. Every 20 minutes, take a 20-second break, follow the 20-20 rule.
Eat the rainbow.
Food is the number one tool. We have to improve our eyes. Our eyes have natural blue blockers, and they come from food. Orange foods can help our eyes. Corn, bell peppers, oranges, leafy greens like spinach, Swiss chard, and all that other leafy greens. Get a lot of that color in your diet. The darker the berries have the most benefit. Even purple grapes are great for your eyes, even if grapes aren't berries.
Sugar is bad for your eyes because of elevated blood sugar. Sugar is just terrible. We need to just stay away from it.
Stay away from the sugar.
Get away from me.
So we have so much power in our health. We need to take care of our eyes today. Get Dr. Rani's Keep books today.
They're so amazing.
They're amazing.
Get the books today.
Like,
Thank
just go
you.
Like, go.
right now. Come on.
Why are you still sitting here?
And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Until next time, I'm Zansari.
I'm Abdullah.
And I'm Iman.
Follow my family and I on social media, Holistic Momdy, and look out for my mom's book and our book that is actually coming out in 2025. July 2025. Kids need to learn from other kids. Please download our podcast on iTunes and leave a review for other kids and families can benefit. We need to create a healthy future for all of us and the planet. Join us next week for another episode of The Holistic Kid Show, where kids aren't pranking kids.
Thank you, everyone.
Everyone.